Hi, my name is Bennett with Answers Not Excuses Fitness Training. Today is Trainer Tip Tuesday. What we're gonna do is take a look at an old exercise you've probably done before or seen somebody do a lot of different times. We're gonna look at doing an external rotation for your rotator cuff, but what we're gonna do is actually look at using a loop band to make it a more time efficient exercise for you. So with most everyone's posture sucking, basically everyone's stuck forward in flexion. One of the causes of that generally with your shoulders is something called internal rotation. Now, what we want to do to fight against that is to strengthen your external rotators, which is this motion right here, and this is going to be an exercise for us to do that. Now, what this is going to do is actually strengthen your rotator cuff. You've seen this exercise done before, I'm sure, or done it yourself. Common ways that people do this, sometimes they can lay on their side on a bench and use a dumbbell. You might see them with a flat kind of physical therapy band, they wrap it around something. You could see them with a cable machine or a band like this. They have their elbow at their side and they come out and they do this guy. Okay, now while this is a great exercise, this is pretty time consuming. If you need to make it so you're only doing one side at a time to really focus on that, to do it correctly, do that. If you're looking for a more time efficient way to do that, a loop band is going to be a great way to go. What we're going to be able to do with this is actually do both sides at the same time. So we're going to be able to stand up tall here with your elbows right by your sides, and we're going to externally rotate out your hands. Now, my hands facing up is actually going to make this more difficult. If I had my hands facing each other, it'd be a little bit easier. So this is going to up the difficulty a little bit. It's going to be a little more natural to hold on to it this way too. Remember, if I grab this close in on the band, it's going to be super hard. If I have to start all the way out here and limit the range of motion in the beginning or the tension just to make sure I do it correctly, I'm going to do that. So there's a little bit of a gray area here. Think of these rotator cuff muscles as endurance muscles too, and they're stabilizing. So we want to make sure we do this right. We don't need to throw maximal force at this, especially until you get it up to a conditioning level. So what we're going to do with your elbows by your sides here is we're going to externally rotate out, and I'm going to squeeze back my shoulder blades. My elbows are going to come away from my sides a little bit, and that's actually going to help activate that back there more. What we're going to do is we're going to come together. We're going to leave a little bit of tension there. We don't need to slap our hands together. And then we're going to go ahead and squeeze back again. What this is going to do is allow us to do both sides at the same time, actually. Now, another option you have from this is actually coming out and holding this in general for time. This is also a great exercise. Or you could also make this a little more dynamic. And I could bring one in, bring it back out, and bring the other one in, and bring it back out. Now you're going to feel this a ton in your shoulders, kind of in your shoulder blades there. And so kind of from the side here, think if I didn't have any resistance, and this is as far as I can get, when I'm using this band, I want to try to get to the same range of motion. I don't want to pull out and only get this far. Now if it's like your last rep, it's your third or fourth set of that, that's going to be a little bit different. You know, you're completely fatigued, right? But even then, especially what's nice with this in the middle of a set, let's say I start here, and this is going to be hard to remember because your hands are closer together, and I can get there towards the end of the set. That's going to be too hard, so I got to let my hands out a little bit. That's going to be perfectly fine. That way we can just adjust on the fly and keep going. So again, these are going to be small muscles, and what we're going to want to do is work more on strength endurance, especially if you haven't been doing this before. So if you're doing at least 2 sets of 15, that would be great. If you can only make it to a set of 13 or something at the beginning, that's fine. So remember, this is going to be a loop band. This one in particular is 41 inches. It doesn't have to be this, but again, if you have a shorter band like here, this is going to be pretty tough. Now again, if you can't do it correctly with both at the same time, or there's a glaring disparity between the sides, it would be okay. It's going to be, again, less time efficient to do that, but you could wrap it around something and we could go ahead and do one side at a time. And that's going to be one super time efficient way to build rotator cuff exercises into your programming. It's also going to be one of the ways that you can make exercises maybe you're already doing externally rotate. So this is going to be one way we externally rotate. There's going to be other ways in the future. I'll show you a different version of a face pull in order to build that in too, so we're getting kind of more bang for your buck.